Within the first 5 minutes of meeting someone, your brain has already made over 10,000 calculations about who that person is, their trustworthiness, their confidence, their intentions, their character. And here is the extraordinary thing. Most of those calculations are correct. The problem is, most people do not know how to consciously access what their brain is already telling them. They ignore the signals, they override their instincts, they give people the benefit of the doubt when every single sign is telling them not to. Today, we are changing that. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to read anyone in the first 5 minutes, using real psychological principles that decode human behavior faster and more accurately than you ever thought possible. This is not about judging people, this is about seeing people clearly, and there is a very important difference between the two. Welcome to Human Decoded. Let's get into it. Principle 1. Read their baseline first. Before you can read anyone accurately, you need to understand one fundamental psychological principle. Everyone has a baseline. A baseline is a person's natural default behavior when they are relaxed, comfortable, and unstressed. It is how they naturally stand, naturally speak, naturally use their hands, naturally make eye contact. Here is why this matters. You cannot identify unusual behavior until you know what usual looks like for that specific person. Some people are naturally quiet and reserved. Some people are naturally loud and expressive. Some people naturally avoid eye contact. Some people naturally touch their face when they think. None of these behaviors mean anything on their own, but the moment someone's behavior shifts significantly away from their own baseline, that is when you start paying attention. So the very first thing you do when you meet someone new, spend the first 60 seconds doing nothing but establishing their baseline. Watch how they move, listen to how they speak, notice how they hold themselves when nothing important is being discussed. That baseline is your reference point for everything that follows. Principle 2. Watch their hands. If you could only pay attention to one thing when reading a person, make it their hands. Hands are the most psychologically revealing part of the human body, and here is why. We have almost no conscious control over what our hands do. While our face is performing for the world, our hands are telling the truth. Open palms facing upward. This is one of the oldest and most universal signals of openness and honesty in human psychology. When someone speaks to you with open upward-facing palms, they are subconsciously signaling, "I have nothing to hide." Hands hidden, in pockets, behind the back, under the table. This is the opposite signal. Hidden hands create psychological distance. They suggest the person is holding something back, emotionally, informationally, or intentionally. Hand-to-face touching. When someone touches their face, covers their mouth, or rubs their nose while speaking, their nervous system is attempting to self-soothe. This behavior spikes during deception, discomfort, and anxiety. Steepled hands. Fingertips pressed together forming a steeple shape. This is a powerful confidence signal. People who feel genuinely confident and authoritative naturally steeple their hands. It is almost impossible to fake convincingly. Watch the hands. They will tell you more in 30 seconds than a conversation will in 30 minutes. Principle 3. Listen to what they do not say. One of the most powerful and least understood psychological reading skills is the ability to listen to silence, omission, and deflection. Here is what psychology tells us. People reveal as much about themselves through what they choose not to say as through what they do say. Pay attention to the questions they avoid answering directly. Pay attention to the topics they immediately redirect away from. Pay attention to the moments where a direct, simple answer would have been easy, but they chose a complicated, vague one instead. Also listen for what psychologists call distancing language. When someone is uncomfortable with a statement, they unconsciously distance themselves from it linguistically. For example, instead of saying, "I made a mistake," they say, "Mistakes were made." Instead of saying, "I didn't do that," they say, "That's not something I would do." The subtle shift from first-person direct language to passive and personal language is one of the most consistent psychological indicators of discomfort with the truth. Listen not just to what people say, but to how they say it, what they skip over, and what they work hardest to avoid. Principle 4. Watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. This is perhaps the single most reliable character assessment tool in all of human psychology, and it takes less than 5 minutes to observe. Watch how someone treats the waiter, the cleaner, the security guard, the receptionist, the person who has no power, no status, and no ability to benefit them in any way. People perform for those who can help them. They show their best selves to bosses, clients, potential partners, and anyone they want to impress. That performance tells you very little about who they actually are. But the moment a person interacts with someone who has nothing to offer them, the performance drops, the mask comes off, and whoever you see in that moment, patient or impatient, warm or cold, respectful or dismissive, that is the real person. This principle is so reliable that many CEOs and senior leaders have made it their primary hiring filter. They take candidates to lunch not to discuss the role, but to watch how they treat the serving staff. Remember this always. How someone treats those who can do nothing for them is who they actually are. Principle 5. Watch their eyes during emotional moments. The eyes are the one feature of the human face that we have the least conscious control over, and during emotionally charged moments, they become extraordinarily revealing.
Genuine emotion produces what psychologists call involuntary eye behavior. Microexpressions, pupil dilation, eye moisture, and gaze direction that happen too fast and too automatically for anyone to consciously manufacture. Here are the key things to watch for. Eye contact during compliments. Genuine, confident people maintain steady, comfortable eye contact when receiving a compliment. People with deep insecurity or hidden agenda often look away or down when complimented, even when smiling. Eye direction during recall. When someone is genuinely remembering something, their eyes typically move in a consistent direction. When someone is constructing or fabricating, the eye movement pattern often shifts. This is not foolproof, but combined with other signals, it is a powerful piece of the puzzle. Microexpressions. These are involuntary facial expressions that flash across a person's face in under a quarter of a second. They are the face's honest reaction before the conscious mind can control and suppress it. Contempt, disgust, fear, surprise. These flashes of truth happen whether a person wants them to or not. Train yourself to notice them. Principle 6. Trust your body before your brain. The final and most important principle in reading people is one that most people actively work against. Trust your physical response. Your body processes social and emotional information significantly faster than your conscious mind. Before your brain has finished forming a logical assessment of a new person, your nervous system has already delivered a verdict. That inexplicable discomfort you feel around certain people, that instant ease you feel around others, that vague unease that you can't quite put into words, that immediate sense of safety with a stranger. These are not random feelings. They are the result of your nervous system processing thousands of microsignals, tiny inconsistencies, subtle misalignments between what someone is saying and what their body is doing, and delivering a summary judgment faster than conscious thought can follow. The single biggest mistake people make when reading others is overriding this physical response with logic. They talk themselves out of what their body already knows. Trust your nervous system. It has been reading people for your entire life, and it is almost always right. So there you have it, the 6 psychological principles for reading anyone in the first 5 minutes. Principle 1, establish their baseline first. Principle 2, watch their hands. Principle 3, listen to what they do not say. Principle 4, watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. Principle 5, watch their eyes during emotional moments. Principle 6, trust your body before your brain. Here is your challenge. Try at least one of these principles on the very next person you meet. Then come back and tell me in the comments what you noticed. I promise you, once you start seeing these signals, you will never be able to stop, and that awareness will protect you, guide you, and serve you for the rest of your life. Subscribe to Human Decoded. Every week we decode a new side of human nature. I will see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay aware.